Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. We're going to be looking at Damon today.
Damon.
Yeah.
Interesting one.
You sent us their due diligence report,
Yes.
a company overview, and some news
A
article.
lot to cover.
So we're going to try to unpack this for you and cut through the noise and give you a clear picture of what's going on.
Sounds good.
Okay. From what you sent over, looks like you're really interested in understanding the potential of this company,
Right.
but also the risks associated with Damon,
Yeah.
especially given, how they've been doing lately and some of the changes they've made.
Absolutely.
So let's dive into their financials,
Yeah.
their position in this electric mobility market,
Okay.
and then kind of all the factors that could influence their future.
Uh-huh.
First up, let's look at their financial health.
Okay.
Q2 FY25 net income
Yeah.
shows a pretty striking change. $32.5 million, or $2.51 per diluted share. And that's compared to a $7.1 million net loss the year before.
Interesting.
What do you think? What fueled this turnaround?
I don't know if this just came from them selling a lot more of their electric motorcycles
Oh,
or from their other revenue streams.
like data intelligence and services,
Yeah.
engineering services, and special projects.
Yeah, I don't think the sources highlight a particular surge in revenue
Okay,
from any one area.
gotcha.
So it suggests that maybe these other sectors
Okay,
helped boost that bottom line.
interesting.
They also significantly reduced their liabilities.
Right. They went from 52.2 million down to 17.2 million.
Huge decrease.
What drove that?
Yeah.
Better financial management, something else.
It's possible they use money from their public offering
Okay.
to pay off some debt.
Right.
And convert some into equity.
Okay.
And their stockholders' deficit improved as well.
Right. It went from 50.4 million down to just under a million.
A big change.
Yeah. Before the offering, their cash on hand was pretty low.
How low?
Only $789,000
As of
the end of December 2024.
Okay.
Pretty ambitious plans with that little cash. How tight was their operational runway?
Yeah, with less than $1 million in cash.
Right.
And multiple businesses to run. It seems like they were relying on credit lines or other financing.
Okay.
So that public offering was critical.
To give them the cash they need.
Yeah, keep the lights on.
Speaking of that $16.5 million public offering,
Yeah.
it was upsized.
Right.
What does that tell us about investor interest?
Well, when an offering is upsized,
Yeah.
usually means there was more demand from investors
Okay.
than they anticipated.
So they raised more capital than planned.
Yes.
And what are they going to do with all that cash?
Looks like they're planning to use it to accelerate revenue generation
Oh, okay.
through their technologies and partnerships.
Gotcha.
And to strengthen their balance sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Now let's talk about their revenue streams.
Okay.
Data intelligence and services, engineering services, personal mobility products, and special projects.
Right.
That's a lot of different things.
It is.
Does spreading their efforts across so many areas
Yeah.
increase their risk as an investment?
Well, diversification can be a double-edged sword,
Okay.
but it's usually a way to reduce risk.
Gotcha.
So if one part of the business struggles,
Mm-hmm.
the others can pick up the slack.
Okay.
And in Damon's case, it allows them to capitalize on their core technologies, like their AI safety systems.
Okay.
They can apply this in various ways
Okay.
and maybe find quicker ways to generate revenue.
Makes sense. And they're really highlighting those AI-powered safety systems and their electric technology
All right.
as their key differentiators.
Mhm.
What exactly makes this technology proprietary?
Well, it's the application of AI for safety and personal mobility.
Uh-huh.
If their algorithms and sensors are truly unique. Right.
And can demonstrably make riding safer. That's a big selling point.
Okay.
And then smart electrification
Less.
probably refers to their battery management
Okay.
and electric powertrains.
Gotcha.
Any advancements there could lead to better performance,
Uh-huh.
longer range, more efficiency.
Interesting. So they've also opted for an asset-light model,
Yes.
relying on partnerships like the one with Engines Engineering.
Right.
What are the benefits?
Well, lower upfront costs
Okay.
and more flexibility.
How so?
They can outsource things like manufacturing
Right.
and focus on design and technology.
Okay.
And that lets them scale up quickly
Gotcha.
and adapt to changes without the cost of running factories.
What are the downsides?
Less control over manufacturing,
Okay.
reliance on partners,
Mm-hmm.
and risk of IP loss.
Interesting. Then there's that new revenue opportunity.
Which one?
related to California's zero-emission motorcycle mandates.
Anticipating $6.47 million in funding.
Wow.
What's the immediate impact of that?
Well, that $6.47 million provides a direct boost to their financial resources.
Okay.
And supports their operations and R&D.
Long term.
Signals a favorable regulatory landscape.
Okay.
Could lead to more incentives for EVs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's talk about their stock price.
Okay.
A drop of around 90% in the last 10 days.
That's rough.
And over 99% in the past year.
Wow.
What's causing this volatility?
It could be concerns about their long-term financial viability, despite the positive earnings. Maybe the dilutive effect of the offering.
Right.
Or less confidence in their ability to execute their plans.
Okay.
Also, falling prices can trigger more selling.
Right, a negative cycle.
Exactly.
But right after that big drop, the stock jumped up over 21% on April 3rd, 2025.
Interesting.
After news of the California funding. And some loan terminations.
Okay.
What does that tell us?
Shows how reactive the market is to any positive news.
Okay.
For a volatile stock like Damon.
So investors are looking for signs of improvement?
Yeah. Any indication of a turnaround. But it also highlights the uncertainty around the stock.
The overall market sentiment seems mixed.
In what way?
Some indicators, like the 3-month MACD, are giving buy signals.
Right.
But short and long-term moving averages are showing sell signals.
Uh-huh.
What does this disagreement tell us?
It usually signals a period of uncertainty.
Okay.
And lack of consensus.
Okay.
The sell signals probably reflect the overall downward trend.
Right.
While the MACD might be picking up on a temporary upward movement.
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily mean a fundamental change.
And even with these falling prices, trading volume has increased. Why are we seeing so much activity?
Could be strong selling pressure.
Okay.
As investors exit their positions.
Gotcha.
Or it could be speculative trading.
Trying to profit from those price swings. Or news, good or bad, could be triggering increased trading.
Absolutely.
Let's look at their competition.
Okay.
Harley-Davidson, Livewire, Zero Motorcycles, and Energica Motor Company.
Right.
How is Damon differentiating itself?
Their big focus is on AI-driven safety.
Okay.
Other companies are emphasizing performance, range, design, but Damon wants to be the leader in safety technology.
Okay.
Their asset-light model and partnerships also set them apart.
You mentioned AI-driven safety systems as a key advantage.
Yes.
How unique is this really?
Other manufacturers are exploring similar things, but Damon's marketing really highlights this as a differentiator.
Okay. Now let's look at risks and opportunities.
Okay.
The sources mentioned extreme stock price volatility and shareholder dilution as red flags. How seriously should potential investors take these?
These are significant risks.
Okay.
Extreme volatility means investors could lose a lot quickly.
Right.
And dilution reduces the percentage of the company existing shareholders own. Okay.
So high potential rewards, but also high potential for losses.
And then there's the financial risks.
Yeah.
Their history of losses.
Right.
And reliance on external financing. How's that offering supposed to help?
It brings in much needed capital.
Okay.
Improves their cash reserves. Reduces dependence on debt.
Okay.
Funds R&D, production, and market expansion.
Out. So it gives them some breathing room.
Yeah.
But doesn't guarantee long-term stability.
No.
What about regulatory risks?
Like what?
Changes in electric vehicle mandates.
Right.
How could those affect Damon?
If regulations become more supportive,
Okay.
could drive demand for their motorcycles. But if mandates weaken, it could hurt sales.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Yes.
What about opportunities? The HyperSport race launch and those new revenue streams?
Right.
What impact could those have?
A successful launch could boost brand recognition and sales.
And growing their other businesses could create more stable revenue.
And improve profitability.
Exactly.
Finally, let's discuss the leadership changes.
Okay.
Dominique Kwong is now interim CEO, and Shashi Tripathi is chairman.
Right.
What are their goals?
Kwong seems to be focused on operational efficiency.
Okay.
And Tripathi on growth opportunities and partnerships.
How might these changes affect the company?
Could lead to shifts in resource allocation and priorities.
Okay.
Changes in strategic direction.
Interesting. So to sum up,
Yeah.
we have a company undergoing a major transformation, betting on innovation and diversifying revenue.
Absolutely.
Recent financial improvements and new opportunities are encouraging.
They are.
But the stock volatility and past challenges can't be ignored.
True.
The potential of their safety systems and the shift towards multiple revenue streams really stands out.
It does.
But the market's doubts are clear. It'll be crucial to monitor their execution and financial stability.
Agreed.
This raises an important question.
What's that?
How much weight do you give to disruptive potential versus financial stability?
Good question.
Keep an eye on their earnings reports and developments in EV regulations.
Will do.
If you found this helpful, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment.
And let us know what other topics you'd like us to cover.
Thanks for joining us on Investing Talk Podcast.
See you next time.